All right, so we're going to take a look at another passing concept out of the gun tight Y off. And the play we're going to be looking at is called flanker spot. Just real quick, I didn't even go over my audibles. So typically I'll set my audibles to something like this. Now I do kind of like the RPO zone alert. I've been trying my hardest to run this PA jailbreak screen with mixed results. I had a defensive tackle pick me off the other day. So I'm really not... I'm probably never going to run it again. So yeah, I would just stay away from that. You can switch to this Power O. Power O is pretty good. The problem with this Power O, however, is if there's an inside stuff guy where that guard is pulling from, so the left guard, there's inside stuff over that guy, or in that gap between him and the center, he's going to blow the run up every single time because you can't double team. Right? If he happens to be on the other side of the center, between the center and the right guard, then yeah, you can double team him, would be all right. But if he's on the left side, the run is just dead. And sometimes, even if it's not inside stuff, sometimes they just get that automatic win. And just absolutely the defensive lineman blow you up in the backfield. So it's a little bit risky. But if you are seeing, I will say it is good against 3-down line sets. People will tend to pinch their 3-3-5, and it's pretty good against the pinch 3-3-5 because you can double team the nose guard, which typically is where the inside stuff guy is going to be, and then you can kind of get to the outside, and you have that extra lead blocker. But spoke a little bit too much about that. Let's go back to flanker spot, and I'm going to come out in our base play. Play always come out in his bench switch because it beats man coverage. But I just want to, there's a little fine little detail that, kind of beginner players won't really grasp. Yes, we are attacking the same area of the field with this play. And, oops, I need to flip the formation. And this play, let's go ahead and flip it back. But the difference is in our base play, it's X running the corner route, and in flanker spot, it's Y running the corner route. Now, why, you might say, why is that important? Corner routes are tough to stop in zone. So what people will typically do is try to man them up and maybe like shade to the outside. So if you mix in the two players, they don't know which guy is running the corner route. So that's just a little tip. But the other tip would be run this corner out to the short side of the field, and I'll show you exactly why. It's kind of counterintuitive, but it does make sense the more you look at it. So if I were to run this like this, I'm going to put a fade out there. It doesn't matter if you put a fade or a streak. This is a simple just cover 3. You'll see that outside third sticks with that the whole way. He doesn't get fooled by the inside streak. Not for 1 second. And remember, again, excuse me, we can't motion this outside guy out to the left to occupy that deep third. So we're at a bit of disadvantage. So we need to run our corner routes to the short side of the field. And you'll see the deep third acts way different on the short side of the field than he does on the wide side of the field. I never seem to have time to throw that. We got to block my halfback. All right, let's try this one more time. So now it gets open, right? Now that deep third is actually distracted by that streak route. So, like I said, run your corner routes to that side of the field. This is a pretty good route combination, and actually, you don't necessarily have to flat this guy. I do kind of like this route. It just kind of sits underneath the zone coverage in a really good spot. So you can just pretty much just put a streak on the outside, run this play stock. You can see, you can do, not a drag. You don't want to do a drag. You do something like this. Flat the X receiver, wheel the halfback because it'll pull the flat zone. Well, it puts the flat zone in conflict, right? The flat zone has to either, okay, do I run to the X receiver or do I play the halfback? A lot of times he'll play the halfback or he'll drop back, and that's just wide open. If they're playing hard flats, sometimes it acts a little bit differently. So make sure I'm in the right play first. Hard flat here, and then he bursts out to there, and then you have that open. So that's basically how you would beat zone coverage. Cover 2 is a very similar concept here. And that is your RB audible. So not rocket science at all. If they play hard flats, then you throw to the flat. If they play hard flats, you don't throw to the flat. If they play hard flats, you hit the corner out. All right. This is hard flats. Obviously, it's wide open. There's nothing there to really stop it. Your last reads are always going to be this backside combination here, unless you just sense. So, like, a lot of times I'll see people will heavily user this side of the field really, really aggressively after you hit them. And then I won't even look to that side of the field. I'll just look at what they got going on the backside and just go ahead and dump it off. But I do want to talk about man coverage real quick. Now, currently we have Elam matched up on Jefferson, so that's a win for us. Typically in MUT, you're probably not going to get these really advantageous matchups like that unless you have a really good team. And I'm going to move this out of the way. This is just going to get in the way of what we're trying to show. So, flanker dig. It does you no good to flat this guy unless you're just planning on wheeling this and playing games with the user. But typically I want to put him on a more productive route like a zig, a drag. I don't want to get him in conflict with the corner route, or you could just motion snap this guy. So you could do something like this. Double drag. Let him get out here, and then you snap. You have that high-low read. But it's a really weird game this year with man coverage. It's very strange. The way that this post route kind of gets run, like sometimes it gets open, sometimes it doesn't. So let's take a look at the last example real quick. We motion this guy over, right? He's running a post route. He gets an inside release. Great. That's exactly where we want him. But now he's in trail coverage. And now we can't throw this route. So there's like little nuanced things, and it could honestly be because the safety in the middle of the field dropped into it, or he's in a deep third, and it's just like a cover 1. But then other times, it'll get open. So it's kind of iffy. So let's just put him out on a route real quick. So now he just torches him. Now, look at that separation. So it's really hard to gauge whether your guy's going to get open or whether he's not going to get open. So that's why that is your last read. That's not something you need to depend on, because that will typically end. I've seen that happen a lot in game. And it's very frustrating. And I've thrown a lot of interceptions expecting that route on the break to get open, and it just doesn't. The other thing you can do, like we showed in the previous video, is you can motion your tight end. And he's in off man coverage. So what I kind of like to do is just put him on a curl route. And actually, that was zone. I forgot to audible back to cover 1. That's totally my fault. Let's actually do it right this time. Go ahead and press. Curl route. Yeah. So ignore the left side of the field right now. The route combinations are not really set up to beat man. But then you get this. And you want to click on and come back to that as fast as you can and get that. That's a nice route you can run against somebody that, against the safety. Because people are typically in nickel. They're not in dime. So that would mean the safety would have to cover the tight end. So the curl route works fairly well. You can throw the corner route against man coverage, obviously. You need to pay attention to the kind of leverage they get. This isn't the best corner route ever. I don't love it. You know, sometimes I'll just ISO it. Let's just not pay attention to the routes on the right side, but just look at the corner route. Then I can read, okay, he's got outside leverage on the cut. I should be able to throw this. That was a terrible throw from Kirk Cousins. Actually, it was me. It wasn't Kirk. I just put a bad passing on it. But it will get separation. I mean, if you put this at a 7 o'clock pass lead down and away with the precision, you have to use the freeform or precision passing, whatever you call it. If you just throw this normal, then somebody can click on and make a play on this. So I'm just going to show it one more time just to prove to myself that I can do it. And get this out of the way. Just going to put everything on the right side of the field. Just get out of my way real quick. Go on his break. Still can't do it because I think my brain's broken. One more time for the boys. And this is why you got to get in and get your reps in, because I can't tell you how many times I've messed it up again. I've gone to this formation and I barely ever throw this particular corner route. And I just do what I just did right there. I just sail it out of bounds. And it's just a wasted play. So let's try this one more time. Let's play it more downwards. There you go. And he didn't get his feet in necessarily, but you get the point. The throw can be made. I promise you, you can do it. I'm kind of inept at throwing corner routes for whatever reason. But it is there. It's not a lot of separation. You want to try to put it in this area of the field and click on it and come back to it. Almost like a curl route. And yeah, that's flank or dig. You've got just a quick review. You've got your corner route. You've got against man coverage. You can do something like this. You can do a drag. You can do double drags with mesh concept. You can just get creative with it. Motion the tight end out. I definitely encourage the creativity and giving your opponent different looks. And that's kind of how I play. I kind of play like a freestyle offense. So definitely check that out. But I think that's pretty much it for flank or dig. I know I rambled a little bit, rambling a little bit tonight, but hopefully you guys got some cool nuggets of information from that. And that's just another play we can kind of add to our arsenal from this formation.